David Bailey's off again.
Did you email me some of those?
Good as Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, Phil, today we're going to do a turn in the road.
Okay.
Okay, have you done any manoeuvres similar to this before?
No.
No. Have you done any reversing before?
Well, I did some reversing in a straight line.
A straight line reverse. Okay, so what was the speed that you did that reverse?
Slow.
A slow speed. Well, that's what we're going to need today. We're going to need a nice slow speed because we've only got a small piece of road we're working in. We've got a lot to get in that, and also the slow speed will give us more control over the vehicle.
Okay.
So the manoeuvre today is going to be broken down into 3 sections. We're going to, the first manoeuvre will be forwards, going across the road to that curb.
Okay.
Second manoeuvre, reversing, and then the final, if we're lucky, will carry us on straight ahead.
If we're lucky.
If the road is wide enough, we can get round in 3. Ideally, we should be able to get round in 3 moves. When you did the reverse in a straight line, how did you control the speed of the vehicle?
With the clutch bite point.
The clutch bite point.
Mm.
So, and you just, so yeah, well, so when we go across the road, we would need to have a nice slow speed, just controlling that clutch nicely. Probably won't need to use the gas.
Okay.
And then obviously we'll then need to be braking at the other side before we hit the curb.
Obviously.
So when we start the manoeuvre, we'll be using the POM routine.
Okay.
Can you explain to me the POM routine you normally use?
Prepare, observe, move.
Okay, and explain to me the observations that you do.
All round.
All round.
Yeah.
In which direction?
Starting over there, all the way around, finishing over there.
Okay, check in all the blind spots.
Yeah.
Okay. When we start the manoeuvre, it will be like pulling away from the roadside. So we would do the standard direction of observations that we use when pulling away. The importance though is to keep the speed nice and low, and we need to get the steering on, the full steering lock on, as quick as we can. So it'll be turning the wheel to the right as quick as we can as soon as the vehicle starts to move. Why do we want to make sure that the steering, why do we need to make sure that we're moving before we turn the steering wheel?
Oh, I was told that was dry steering.
Dry steering, yeah. It puts extra strain on tyres and such like
joints,
so,
yeah.
and joints. So we'll get the vehicle moving, and we'll get the lock on as fast as we can. When we go across it, I will stop you approximately a foot away from the curb, and then you can then get yourself a reference point.
Okay.
You've obviously, when you did your reverse, you picked up a reference point for going backwards in a straight line.
Yeah.
So, and you've got reference point for stopping at junction, so we'll get a reference point for you for stopping at the curb. Once we've stopped at the curb, we'll secure the vehicle. We'll then do the POM routine again to come back across. But what would be different about the POM routine this time, the observations?
Don't need to check the blind spots?
No, you still need to check the blind spots, but you always end the observations in the direction the vehicle is going to turn.
Oh, okay.
And because as we're turning right across the road, we finish our observations over our right shoulder. Because we'll be turning left, we'll finish the observations over our left shoulder.
Oh, okay.
But obviously we'll still be doing all-round observations throughout the manoeuvre.
Right.
So we keep looking up and down the road whilst the vehicle's moving. We're looking for pedestrians or bikes or anything like that.
So pavements as well then?
Pavements as well, yeah. We're checking all around for anything that could become a hazard to them, or they could become a hazard to us.
Okay.
When we've prepared the vehicle and we start to move the vehicle in reverse, we'll need to get the steering as quickly as across to the opposite lock. So we'll be across there pointing right. We need to get the wheel turned round to the left, so we're on full left hand lock, Again, controlling the vehicle across the road at a nice steady pace, as the same nice speed you were doing going over. When we get near this curve, I'll ask you to stop the vehicle again, and we'll get yourself a reference point for stopping the vehicle near the curb.
Okay.
And the vehicle will be secured again with a handbrake. And then before we do the final section of the manoeuvre, we'll then do the observations again as we did in the first section, going left to right. We'll get the biting point, and then we'll release the handbrake, we'll get the vehicle moving, and we'll get full right hand lock on again. And we'll then, once we've finished the manoeuvre, we'll just park up and discuss how it went. Could you just show me the speed, when you said you had a nice controlled speed in the reverse, could you just give me a demonstration of the speed that you used? Don't forget to do your observation checks before we pull away. Okay, and just stop it. Okay, if you just secure the vehicle. That was a nice slow speed. It could be even slower, because the slower speed we have, the more time we have to react to stopping when I say stop, and it also gives us more time to get the lock on. If I just give you a demonstration, so if you just put both hands on the steering wheel for me so the vehicle doesn't turn. Something that sort of speed would give us more time to get the steering lock on.
Okay.
Before we go, so would you just like to try and see if you could get the vehicle at that sort of pace for me? So don't forget the handbrake. A little bit more, up a little bit more on the clutch. Okay. Don't forget to take it out of gear. Thank you. Okay, any questions you would like to ask before we carry out the manoeuvre? One thing I would mention as well is, I don't know if you can see, if you look along the road, you can see the road rises slightly in the centre,
Right.
where the white line would be if we had one.
Right.
That's described as, it's called the camber of the road. So it's allowing for drainage of water when it rains.
Okay.
So when we pull away, we need to, the vehicle will climb the curb. We just need to be prepared when we
climb the curb.
No, not curb. Climb up the slope slightly.
Okay.
But when we get past the centre part of the road, it will slope down. So the vehicle may, if we keep the biting point in the same spot, the vehicle may speed up slightly going towards the curb the other side. So we just need to be mindful of the speed the vehicle is going, and if the vehicle seems to speed up when we get over the centre part of the road, we just need to just disengage that clutch slightly.